Welcome to the Running Channel Podcast with me, Sarah Hartley.
With me, Andy Baddeley.
And me, Rick Kelsey. Are too many people running marathons? Now, you know I love a debate, and I just feel like recently this has been boiling over. It's almost as if you're not a runner unless you've run a marathon, and I do not think that is correct.
Oh, but has running 42.2 kilometres actually become devalued? Or are we just in an echo chamber where it seems like every single person has run a marathon? I have strong opinions on this, and they don't necessarily line up with Rick's.
I feel like it's some kind of daytime TV show.
Which one?
Stay tuned. After the break, we'll be delving into more.
There'll be a caption on screen, and we're going to do some kind of DNA test just to find the results.
Oh,
I love a daytime TV show.
we won't be able to take a hair sample from you.
Oh, savage. We're also going to be covering the running news. There's some very exciting running news this week and answering your questions. Let's get into it.
Oh, I missed you.
The hair thing was unnecessary. I think.
That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's all right. We could probably take an eyebrow.
Yeah.
I took Andy round my other job this week.
Did you?
Yeah, so just to prove that I do work on other days.
Yeah, it was funny though. We got to...
Was it just to like an empty field?
Yeah, we got to Times Radio, which was very exciting. I got to see the studio and stuff like that. But what was strange was that everyone just kept stopping us and saying, excuse me, who are you? Have you got your visitor's pass? What are you doing here? This is the first time I've ever seen you here.
You know what I can imagine it feels like? Have you ever been back to your old school and you're walking around being like, oh my gosh, I remember. And there are just people around like, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, so who are you? Do you know what did happen though? The Prime Minister walked 2 meters behind Andy's back.
Yeah,
I was almost going to stop him and say, haven't done you yet.
Definitely think you should have given more context there.
Yeah.
That might have seemed
as in,
a bit
I've not
presumptuous.
interviewed you.
Yes.
I'm sure his security cordon would have stepped in at that point.
Yeah.
There we go.
He was
that's
on
very
Virgin.
exciting.
Yeah,
Did you
he just
ask
walked
him any
past us.
questions?
No, I
Then
didn't.
you could
I
have
wasn't
counted that.
interviewing him.
Then you could have been like, last 11.
Last 11, that's 6.
We should bid to try and get him on. Mind you, I don't know, some people might not like that. Let's move on.
Okay.
I don't even know if he runs. Very excitingly, this week, we are coming to your parkrun, Rick.
You are. I'm slightly nervous about this because I feel like
Because we're going to find out that there's no hills.
I was going to say I will have to perform.
No, you don't have
There's
to
a certain amount of pressure on me.
There is a certain amount of pressure, but do you know what is going to be really nice?
What, meeting Spreadsheet Chris?
No.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Meeting Speedy Sam?
No.
Yeah. Who's the
Seeing Super Quick Joe
That's
Whip?
it. Super Quick Joe
No.
Whip's the one I want to see.
Yeah.
Me and Andy have organised a little surprise for afterwards.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
and
we have.
it's going to be quite a good surprise.
Yeah, no, this is a good surprise. You'll like this surprise. This is not some kind of like we've stitched Rick up.
No.
It's going to be, it's not. You're going to love it, but we can't tell you what it is yet.
No, we'll just give you a little hint. We've teamed up with Ford to give you a little gift after parkrun. Little treat.
Teamed up with who?
With Ford?
As in the car company?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll keep you guessing.
Yeah.
Stay
And
tuned.
It's not going to be what you think.
No, it's not going to be what you think. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, then head over to the Running Channel Instagram stories and you'll be able to see the day unfold, and then you'll hear all about it in next week's episode. Yeah. And you will, of course, get a inch-for-inch description on the so-called hills of Hellsfire Parkrun.
I am definitely working on the assumption it's not that hilly.
No, me neither.
Have you ever used something called Strava?
Yes.
Right. So you'd be able to see the elevation is.
Because
I think it's 100 meters every
your
loop.
Strava.
100 meters. Well, you could have just done it for our 500-meter challenge. That would have been easy then.
Your Strava is also as if you
Too hard.
manually upload every single. Like your Strava is locked.
It is. Yeah.
I'm surprised it even says your name. That's how little information you give away on Strava.
So you wouldn't have been doing this last Saturday's 2 days ago parkrun, would you? Because it's not your turn. You're saving it for your parkrun this weekend with us.
That's right. Yeah.
Have you been running this weekend, Sarah?
I have. I went on a lovely long run, sunset, mainly due to the fact that it was absolutely tipping it down with rain this weekend.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like a good run in the rain, but it needs to start raining when you're already after I've already started running.
I went early doors. I did my long run Saturday morning at 6:30 a.m.
Oh, nice. How was that?
Fine. Attritional, maybe, that's how I would say. But
Attritional.
But it was glorious. I did a loop I haven't done for ages. There were a lot of fields.
Oh no!
I didn't stop.
Love a
I didn't
good
stop.
field.
Oh, so you're converted to the countryside fields now, aren't you?
I don't understand why you stop.
Just sometimes just take. Well, if it's a particularly beautiful.
You run too fast.
You two are going to struggle. You two are going to struggle. Honestly.
On your
you don't know
run?
what's coming your way.
Well, actually,
do you want me to introduce you at the start? Do you want to get introduced?
No, thank you.
No,
absolutely not by you. Anyone else?
No, Spreadsheet Chris will do it.
All right, great. It's fine.
And everyone go, who? We don't care about these guys.
You know, I actually came quite close down to your ends, and there were a lot of hills there this week. So I had the last race that I was able to do in my midweek league with my club. And it was on Tuesday last week where it was ridiculously hot. So there was a health warning in place. They had to shorten the race from 10K to 7K, which made no difference because we had to summit Everest twice in this race.
Oh my gosh.
It was laughably hilly, and it was also all kind of on that kind of like rocky, gritty trail.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely horrific. And all the hills, what made it worse is all of the hills were on like single file trail. So you either had to like death march it up, or if you wanted to stop and walk, then you just had the guilt of like all of the people behind you who were capable of running up the hill, but you just overtaken them on the downhill section before and then couldn't keep it up.
And this was North London.
Terrible. This was North London, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I got stung by a wasp on a run last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are you
Sorry,
okay?
It's like, you know, I'm fine.
I don't think I've ever been stung by a wasp.
Oh, I get
Really?
stung every summer. It's like a celebration.
Really?
Yeah.
What a celebration.
They like the smell of me. Is it pheromones? Is it pheromones that blokes have? No.
Well, everyone has
Could be.
pheromones.
Everyone has pheromones.
I don't think it's just a male
No,
thing.
well, they like my pheromones.
So
Do you get bitten a lot?
yeah, it's a shame that humans don't like
Yes.
your pheromones, isn't it?
You do?
Yes.
Really?
They like the smell of me. Yeah.
So
And wasps?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
wasps.
but you know the wasp would have died after it stung
No,
you.
the wasps live on.
no, bees
Oh,
die.
sorry, it's bees.
Yeah.
So the wasp is just like,
Yeah.
I had to go to A&E once after
Did you?
in an ambulance after being stung by a wasp.
Are you
Oh my God,
serious?
did
Yeah.
you turn out like, you know, dogs when they get stung and their whole face swells up? Was it like that?
Or like, is it Hitch, the movie with Will Smith, where something happens and his whole entire like face and hands
Is
swells
that what
up or
happened?
something?
Yeah.
Sort of. A wasp flew into my mouth and stung me in the back of the throat and the back of the tongue. Yeah, and so that my throat and tongue started swelling up and I couldn't breathe.
Oh, that's really bad.
Yeah, it was the end of a run and I was pretty relaxed about it.
Until you couldn't breathe.
Well, and it was literally then I got into home at that point. I was like, hard to breathe now.
Oh no.
It was because I couldn't. Yeah, my tongue
You know
was
what?
massive in my
Flies,
mouth.
wasps, bugs, like when you're running. I must have got like the biggest fly at the weekend, straight in the
face?
middle of my eyes, headbutt. And it
Really?
actually kind of hurts.
Oh, if you're going at some speed,
Oh, I mean, I was going.
and the flies also.
I think it's more the fly speed rather than my speed.
I didn't know that you'd ended up in hospital. Do you remember there was a stage, and I think it was because of TV programs in kind of like the early 2000s, that people would just jump into bushes? So I went through a stage in my life
I think
where
it was
just,
Jackass, wasn't it? It was
yeah.
Like it was
So
some kind
I
of-
would just jump into bushes. So I was out on a night out once in Liverpool in Queen's Square.
It's got anything
How
to do with
have
running.
you lived
Yeah.
this long?
Yeah.
No, and it was the end of the night, and I jumped into a bush.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was looking down at me, and I was like, there are little black things all over me.
Yeah.
And it was the end of the night. And then I realised slowly that they were bees. And I got stung 27 times. And they were bees
you jumped
all
into a
over me.
bee's nest?
I jumped into a bee's nest. And I ended up in the hospital. But then after like an hour, I was just like, oh, I'm fine. I went home.
Yeah.
But
Your life is
it was quite I've got a weird night out.
Speaking
Anyway,
of nights
running.
out, running. I had to embrace the Sarah Hartley School of Running last week. I had my interval session to do, and life conspired against me. So at 8:30 p.m.
Now, I've
on
never
Thursday
run that
night,
late.
I went out and did my interval session. I finished at about
That's
quarter
not
to
like
10.
you.
And then could you get to sleep straight after?
Oh no,
No.
Wired.
That's the worst
Wired.
thing about running in the evening is
Yeah.
that you're there at like 11 p.m. Like, does anyone
Yeah.
want to watch a film? Does
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
want to?
yeah.
I'm ready. Do you want a drink? Should we go out?
I was-
Should we
I don't
go?
know why
I was
you-
buzzing.
I don't know
I'm
why
going to
you
buy
two do
everything
it.
on Amazon.
Well, because I had to fit it in. There was no other time that I could do it. So.
Did you enjoy it in the moment?
Sort of. I had 10 800s with 2 minutes recovery.
Right.
And it felt long.
That's a
so I'd
lot.
done 4, and at that point it felt like I'd done about 400. And when you haven't quite broke,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden it goes from 4 to, then you've done 8, and then there's only 2 left, and then it's fine.
Did you run the recoveries?
No, I didn't. So I was
his own
absolutely,
advice?
no, I wasn't.
You walked the recovery.
No, I was so,
Did you stop?
I was sort of hating life at this point. And
See, that's where I think running
I
in
was
the
walking.
evening, though.
I was walking the recoveries, but
Then you can think about how late it is and how stupid it is.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just keep running, you're like in it.
But it had dropped to the low 20s by that point.
Oh,
It was a
nice.
hot day otherwise. So actually, I did sort of inadvertently win by mistake.
And
So, yeah.
how many weeks is it to go now until your half marathon race?
Good question.
Are we not thinking about
6.
it?
It's about 5 or 6 weeks. 5 or 6 weeks,
Newark, which
Newark
is
half marathon,
Nottinghamshire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And that ties in perfectly to the extra episode of the podcast that we did this week on the Running Channel Club, which is when to book a race. And we really went into like, how do you book one? When do you book one? How long do you leave? It was a very interesting debate. We didn't necessarily all agree at every single point.
Well, we very rarely agree on anything.
I don't think we're going to agree on today's topic as well.
That's right. Should we talk about it? Let's talk about running marathons. And I mean, slightly controversial question to ask, but are too many people running marathons? I'm going to say no. But we are going to talk about words like that perhaps we've seen written that maybe we wouldn't use, but other people have said like devalued almost because so many people are doing marathons. Has that changed the perception of them? Why are loads more people doing them? Why are they more expensive?
Can I start off with my take on this?
Go on.
Right, so I think we might potentially be at the tipping point now where we actually need everyone to run a marathon. Because for the people that haven't run a marathon, they're potentially the people who are looking at lots of people who have run a marathon and are thinking, well, everyone's done it, so it must be quite easy. However, anyone who has run a marathon understands the gravity of the situation. I probably shouldn't be saying this to Rick when he wants to run one.
Yeah.
How rubbish they are, how hard it is, how grueling the training is. So what I think we need to happen at this stage is that every single person, pick a day, every single person on the planet goes out, runs a marathon, and then we're all on the same page that they're actually quite hard.
No, I think that's nuts. I think that if you don't want to run a marathon, don't run a marathon. I know we give Rick a hard time, but if he didn't want to do it, we wouldn't be giving him such a gentle banter about it.
What about just cycle it?
To appreciate the distance?
Yeah, I just think people, or like, could we have, so did you see after Glastonbury, they like took the circumference of Glastonbury and like drew it on London, or like they drew it on Manchester. I feel like we need more infographics about marathons
just to put everything into context so that everyone gets it.
To get the respect back.
So can I rewind, I don't know, 20 years? Every time that I was running, so when I was running professionally, but I'd be in the gym or I'd meet people who were sort of, I don't know, running adjacent. Like they weren't in a running club necessarily, but they were loosely interested in running.
Yeah.
They were always saying, oh, you're a professional athlete. Do you run the marathon? Or have you run a marathon? And I'm always really disappointed in me when I was like, no, I run the 1500 meters. I've never got anywhere near running the marathon.
Yeah.
And so there was always that sort of, that's the public consciousness of running was, but that's a long time ago. So there's that side of it. And then the sort of the thoughts that I think weigh into this are, it is still bloody hard to run a marathon, but it's this kind of the need for almost sensationalism where if you get asked by someone so when I was growing up, if someone asked, oh, I'm running the marathon, will you sponsor me? You'd be like, oh my goodness, yes, that's this incredible feat of endurance. Whereas now when everybody knows someone who's done it, and some of those people are like, we wouldn't necessarily have thought they might be able to run a marathon. And so I think when I've spoken to some people, they're like, oh, my mate John down the road's run a marathon, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
And then when someone comes and asks for sponsorship, you think, well, I can't sponsor everybody. Everyone's doing a marathon.
Yeah.
My take is this.
Oh, hello.
Here we go.
Everyone call your lawyers.
Strap in. Brace.
I'm concerned that your approach, Sarah, devalues what the marathon is. It is incredibly...
Yeah, I don't think everyone should have to try and run one.
The figures are pretty difficult to put an exact number on how many people have actually run the marathon, but it's certainly less than 1% of the country. So it's still a tiny amount of people who've done it. And I think what we've seen over the last few years is basically an explosion in running in general. So when people talk about running and like Andy's talking about and come up and say, have you run a marathon? And no, actually my event is the 1500 meters. It's just seen as the pinnacle. And obviously that's been driven by like social channels, but also by people who are under 30 specifically. If you look at the entrants for the 2025 this year, applying for 26 in London, a third of people were under 30, which is absolutely incredible. You've also got a record amount of people overall who've applied to do the London Marathon. And it is being driven by that kind of Instagram, TikTok generation and that kind of, for that quest to kind of get that photo in some ways is kind of more important than actually understanding how flipping hard it is for 3-4 months to train to get that photo.
Yeah.
And my concern is that, a bit like Andy, is that when someone asks you for that sponsor form now, it's kind of like, oh yeah, you're doing a marathon as well.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, it doesn't have to be the marathon you go for when you set yourself a running challenge at the beginning of the year. You know, challenge yourself to run your fastest 10K. Challenge yourself to go and do an amazing half marathon. Challenge yourself to do, amazing trail run. Challenge yourself to go abroad and do it. And also, there's the expense to it as well, because it's not cheap as well. Like to run a marathon.
Well, I wonder what, Sarah, you're in this age group, 18 to 29, just about.
I'm a youthful 27-year-old. Thank you very much.
So, and I think, again, if going back to when I was at university, I remember one or two people from our running team at university, aged sort of 20, 21, doing London Marathon. I just think the general consensus amongst us as slightly more serious runners, perhaps, at that point was, what are you doing? Like, you're 20, why are you running the marathon? Like, that's what you do in your 30s when you're not fast enough anymore to run 5K. At that elite end, that was that kind of mindset. But also, it wasn't that common for someone in their 20s to run the marathon, because it was something you stepped up to. You, like, worked your way up to it. And I don't know whether... I
think that's the very, like, traditional athletics thing, though. If I remember you talking about, like, well, the dream is you run 100 meters, and then you just
if I could have run the 100,
you keep stepping up the distance until you hit something where you can be competitive.
So
until you eventually hit the
even
marathon.
in my teens, I was in denial. I did 800 until I was about 15, because I didn't want to do an extra lap and 3/4. And I just wasn't fast enough, so then I had to do the 1500. And then as I was getting older in my career, I knew I was going to step up to the 5K. And that was always, you know, you look at Haile Gebrselassie, Paul Tergat, these guys were the best guys on the track at 5K, 10K. And then ultimately, they knew that in their early, mid-30s, they would probably go, okay, now it's time to do the marathon. Whereas
I think that's such an interesting...
That doesn't exist anymore, really.
No, that's such an interesting way of thinking about it. But I think that comes with context. And I guess what we're talking about here in general is just context. Do you think each individual person, when they think about the marathon, because like for me right now, I potentially might be running a marathon this year, and the thought of that terrifies me, even though I've run 5, because I know how far it is. But yet we all kind of agree that the general consensus is everyone can do one of those. So is that actually...
Well, I don't think everyone can. You know, and we saw...
Or like everyone, the general consensus...
We saw this year, there was a record amount of people who dropped out this year in London as well. But that was because of the heat.
Do you think that makes it... But then the ballot numbers went up.
No, they went up. I think it was 840,000 people who applied.
Do you think... No, it's more. It was over 1.1 million.
Was it 1.1 million?
Yeah.
So I still felt this... It surprised me, because I think when I retired from running, I don't think I thought I would get the pleasure that I'm getting out of various things that I'm doing now in running. Because I thought, well, I'm never going to be as good or as fast or be able to compete at that level. And I definitely never thought I would get the sense of accomplishment that I did get from completing a marathon. So that tells me that it is really tough. Like I was worried about not finishing. I was worried about just how far it is. And I obviously had a time target too, but it is still something that should be really celebrated. But then I wonder whether, because the perception of it is easier, because everyone knows someone who's doing it, is that pushing people to then take on even more bonkers feats, like harder skis are running the length of Africa?
Yeah, I saw him filming in the park the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I also think challenges like that are really hard as well, because like we have plenty of them in the UK from kind of different radio stations or TV channels where like people take on these incredible feats of endurance. I think that's hard as well, because the context in which they're always put across is like number of marathons.
I see what you mean.
On the one hand, you've got over 1 million people applying to the London Marathon ballot. It's clearly seeing it as a like potentially like achievable challenge. But then is that influenced by the fact that everything is kind of within a currency of marathons? We're seeing celebrities take on 10 marathons in 10 days, or influencers take on multiple marathons per year.
Do you think it starts those younger people? Do you think they're almost like, what's the point in 5K, 10K, half marathon? They just leap to... Like, I mean, obviously doing a massive disservice to a whole generation of people that can definitely think for themselves. But
no, but it's definitely how I felt. Like at the start of this year, I was training towards a sub 20 minute 5K.
Yeah.
But I think as well, because a marathon training block is so long, then there were so many people being like super vocal on social media training for a marathon and then just getting all of the PBs across all of the distances just as kind of a bit of a side hustle.
Do you think everyone's training for a marathon in the way that we would advise? Slightly leading question.
Potentially not. I think that I think what's hard is that you can definitely get swept up in a marathon train.
Yeah.
And I was definitely on that from like end of 2021 all the way up to kind of midway through 2024.
Yeah.
I was either in a marathon training block, in between but knew when the next block was starting, or like running a marathon. And I think that becomes quite on the what you guys were talking about in terms of like sponsorship. I don't think it's not necessarily been devalued, but I think it's become the norm for like you finish a marathon and then someone's like, cool, when's your next one? Whereas actually, if you look at like how elite marathoners are doing it, they're doing like 1, maybe 2 a year. Yeah. Whereas average runners, their average is probably a lot higher.
Yeah, I met people that have been doing, Boston and then London a week apart.
Yeah.
And booked into say 4 marathons in the first half of this year.
Yeah.
But that's not, we talked about it a little bit. That's not cheap either, is it? To get to fly around the world or to even just the race entry. And you've got to be a little bit lucky sometimes to actually get in. London Marathon obviously is going to be massively oversubscribed.
Definitely.
Average cost for the majors, £140 to £200. That's like
just the entry, right?
Just the entry, like
and then you're doing flights,
$250.
accommodation. By the time you find out when you've got your spot for the majors as well, a lot of the accommodation is like already starting to be booked up.
£1,500 is the average cost of travelling to a marathon before the entry fee.
But I think that's a fundamental change from when I thought of marathons 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. It's not a race that you're going to. It is like a bucket list event. It's a huge thing. Yeah. It's part of a trip, maybe with your other half or like with your family, where you're going to soak up the culture of a country or city and run a marathon.
Do you know what hasn't tipped in though? If you think about the shorter distances like 5k, 10k, half marathon, I feel like it's quite standard potentially for people to do those as time trials. Whereas something that you never see is someone saying like, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just doing a marathon time trial." Do you know what I mean? Like if you're in a 5k block, it's quite standard to be like, I couldn't find a race, so I'm just going to do a time trial. Whereas I think the marathon is preserved to, like, if you're running a marathon, you want a medal or a sock or like whatever they want.
Just one sock.
You just want something handed to you at the finish line
to prove they've done it.
For your hours of service.
There are a few sports though that have changed, I would argue, more than running in the past 20 years. If you go back 20 years,
which must be quite hard for you.
Which is very difficult when I was 5. It's very difficult to say that you'd be in a running club 20 years ago. I mean, running clubs like Strava have got some data that shows in 2024 alone, there was a 60% increase in people taking part in running clubs. Tennis was always a social sport. You'd always go and play with your friends, maybe go for a drink.
Someone else for tennis.
Exactly.
You don't necessarily need someone else for running.
But you didn't. But I would argue that's changed for so many people. It is a social sport. People go on dates on running now. Running. There's been an explosion in running clubs, whereas before all the other sports, they were already social. You might go for a beer after football, but now it's a social thing to do.
Yeah, running's dramatically always has been more enjoyable for me with someone else.
Yeah.
For 2 things. One, if it's a long run or an easy run, doing it with someone else, I just love chatting, and I actually think there's a real power in running alongside someone where you don't have to look each other in the eye and you can have like a bit more of a deep conversation and ask difficult questions. Not that that's always what you do, but you can. If you're just down and need to talk to someone, running's great. Then also in my workouts, every now and again when I get to dip in with a group of people or one person to do a workout, I am 10 or 15% better, faster.
You're so competitive.
Yeah, I am really competitive. But it massively, it makes me up my game and I get way more out of a training session with someone else because I am, performing.
So. Maybe that's what people want with the marathon as well. They want that. If you're part of a run club, I would say like anyone who has run a marathon, there are some incredible low moments in there, but you probably do hit that runner's high in a totally different way, and a lot of that is down to the support, or even if you're running a marathon where there's no one else on the sidelines, you will form a connection with someone in that race, hands down.
To ask a question, so it almost goes back to the original point we might have made about the word devalued. Has it in any way devalued it for you that this sense or this perception in the public potentially that it's easier to run a marathon because kind of everyone knows someone that's run a marathon. Does that make it less of an achievement for you? Did it feel like less of an achievement for you when you ran your first marathon?
No, because I think you have to separate it out of like, I personally see it as inspiring that so many other people like a goal that I will never share until I'm within touching distance of it is one that I have only kind of got in my sights because of watching other people run marathons. So actually, I think as long as you accept the fact that it's you doing something for the first time, and as long as you can look through the other results or look through social media on the day and be just as proud of yourself as you are as the stranger that you've never met, I think use it as like a power for good, in that like so many people are demonstrating that thing that if it fills you with even 1% excitement, then just go and see if you can give it a go, because a marathon is amazing. But like you said, absolutely, you are 100% a runner if you never run a marathon. It's not something that you have to do, but it's something that if you want to do it, it now has become potentially a little bit easier to do.
Yeah, and everyone's motivation is different. I wanted to do it just to see if I could, and then ultimately now I'm going to do it to try and see how fast I can go. I remember Anna from the running channel, one of her actually reasons for getting into running was someone told her that she couldn't. Yeah. And someone told her that she'd never be able to run a marathon. She's like, I'm going to show you. And I think I met lots of people that are like, I'm going to show myself. And that's what's powerful about running. I absolutely love it. I think it's, but you're right. We're talking about the marathon. I felt this real sense of joy in completing mine, even though I know loads of people in history have run faster and that loads of people are finishing it. Yeah. And I'm riding this wave of, but I was like, I want to see what all the fuss is about. And I was like, I've done this thing.
And now you want to do another one.
Yeah, well, which I didn't think I would.
Joy, yeah, but there was a lot of misery for me just before it.
Before watching my marathon?
No, I was talking about when I was running it.
Okay.
It's just like, can't breathe.
Well, it's hard. It's hard.
But I think that's the thing, is that, and that is just the beauty of like longer distance running, or even if you run a 5K, no one enjoys the entirety of their 5K.
Andy asked, do you think most people are training for a marathon correctly? And I didn't.
No.
That doesn't surprise any of us, I don't think.
I will do next time.
Sometimes though, I think that makes it, if you get to the finish, if you can drag yourself to the finish line off of I mean, there are plenty of people who run London Marathon who I've had conversations with, and they're like, did not train at all. If you might get a sense of accomplishment because it's the first time you've run that far. Yeah. So would not recommend it.
Yeah, for me,
it is incredible.
Not walking, and it's fine to walk, just to make that clear. For me, my achievement, if I did it next time, when I do it next time, would be to complete it without any walking.
Nice. I think that's such a good goal to aim for.
Yeah, because I had the same goal actually for Valencia. There was a couple of times when I wanted to stop and walk because I was feeling cramps that might be coming on and stuff. And I just thought, I'm going to really struggle to get going again if I stop and walk. But at the same time, there's plenty of people we talk to and even advise to do it that are practicing a Jeffing like run walk strategy deliberately. And I think there's a difference between deliberately thinking this is how I'm going to do it to help me get through this thing versus you and I saying, one of my aims is just to keep going, just to keep moving forwards and to try not to walk. So that for like the kind of the mentality of getting to the end,
doing a marathon, running it the whole way. Right. That was fun.
That was fun. Let us know. Email in podcast@therunningchannel.com. Are you training for a marathon? Are you persuaded to run a marathon by seeing all of these different people doing it? Or has your opinion on the marathon just not changed and you still think it's the same, but you've had a nice listen to our conversation anyway? Yeah,
or you've just got no intention, no interest at all. So like, I'm hoping I can get this out of my system and not have to do another one. I have to do this next one.
Get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do an ultra marathon
instead. No.
I do think that, I mean, it's a whole other podcast, but that's a different sport altogether for me.
Yeah.
Because when I'm going for the marathon, I'm thinking about trying to run a particular pace and time.
Yeah.
Whereas the incredible skill.
You can still do that in an ultra marathon if you want to.
Well, I think that the joy of an ultra, though, from a lot of people I've spoken to, is almost like time's removed from it and you're competing against yourself, the elements, the finish line. Yeah, but it all depends
what your goal is. If you want to hammer it for 50k, you hammer it for 50k.
I don't want to do anything for 50k.
I still can't believe Tom's doing an ultra 50k. I can't get over that news.
Should we talk about some news?
Yeah.
14 minutes. Beatrice Gibet at 5k.
First woman ever to run under 14 minutes for 5k, which is something. It's one of I keep saying this is one of these things I never thought I would say about running, but this is nuts.
It's so fast. What was her time?
13:58.06. which is...
She's encroaching on the 13:48 that you ran at Parkrun many years ago.
Yeah, I think that's different now, isn't it? That was grass and gravel, very different.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Granddad's fighting his case.
Tougher.
That is absolutely mind-bogglingly fast.
Huge meet in the US called the Prefontaine Classic in Oregon, which is across the board. So not only Tibet becoming the first, and I think there were second and third place were really close behind, sort of 14:01 and 14:03, which is, these are mind-blowingly fast times.
Yeah.
I think I want to say that's faster than 68-second laps for 12 and a half laps.
If you were going to run a race, would you prefer, and you were trying to break 14 minutes, would you prefer to run 14 dead or 14:01?
Probably 14:01.
More annoying.
Probably 14:01 because I'm not it's not a dip on the line then. It's like a Oh, I know this is sort of news. Speaking of dips on the line.
Yeah. Oh God.
Do you want to?
Oh
Rick
God.
Kelsey has some news.
Yeah.
Rick did a race.
Yeah. So who was the who came out victorious at your children's nursery sports day or school sports day?
Was it nursery?
Was it nursery or school?
I won the 50 meters.
At nursery or school?
Meters. Dipping
reception.
on the line.
Reception. Okay, first year at school. So this is for 4 and 5 year olds.
Yeah.
50 meter race. How many other mums and dads did the race?
About 15.
You beat 15 people.
Oh, Sarah. You sound very shocked. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
The shock.
You beat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just to take
Sports day, mum and dad's race, 50 meters.
What was the ratio of mums to dads?
Do they have separate races or was it all one race?
All together. Yeah. It's about 50-50.
And how much did you give it? 100%?
I gave it.
Did you come in?
I was full pelt.
What did you dress up as? Were you in full running kit?
Full.
Did you wear any running channel merch?
I might have had my running channel hat on.
Nice.
Yeah.
And just to make sure you won, I believe that there was a significant dip on the line.
I dipped on the line.
Are you allowed to dip on the line? I feel like
I don't know, but the headmaster told me off for dipping on the line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I did. He said I was too keen.
You got told off by your primary school head teacher.
By Elizabeth's headmaster.
How close is second place?
Nose.
Close enough to dip.
Really?
I needed to dip to win. Yeah.
Oh,
I was keen.
It felt good. Getting second-hand embarrassment.
I'm cringing. I'm cringing at this.
That is so cringe.
You know,
do you take part in the?
I've only done it.
Did you dip on the line?
I've done it once.
Are you going to sports day this year?
I have been to various sports days. They've already happened, but at our school ones, there aren't any parents' races. It was only at nursery for us, like preschool.
Apparently, every
so I did
year.
Do it about 5-6 years.
Really?
Ago. Yeah.
Did you
Apparently,
I did win. Yeah.
Nice.
The headmaster came round on the start line before and said, every year someone pulls a hamstring. Please do not go all out. What did I do?
Someone broke their collarbone in ours.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently, this is a thing.
Adults are just embarrassing.
This is a thing.
Stupid.
I wasn't going to do it. I had no intention of running this race, but some of the other
go on.
Yeah, some of the other mums. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. This guy was in the Olympics, and everyone's like, "What?" And then I got pushed to the front. I was like, "Oh, okay, fine, let's do this thing."
You pull your hammer,
and he wins it. Because I'm a legend.
I showboated over the line.
Right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Are there any other elite athletes?
What I was going to say is that we started this podcast talking about people devaluing things.
Yeah,
we've gone from one of the greatest feats of female endurance running in history.
Yeah,
to then Rick's sports day.
Yeah, sorry.
So
back to some incredible female athletes.
At the same meet, Faith Kipyegon broke the 1500 meter world record. So we're talking her trying to run her 4-minute mile. Yeah. She set a new record. Her old record was 3:49. She ran 3:48.68 to win. Paced it much more sensibly. Mm-hmm. But also it does still put it in context because when we were talking about her trying to run a sub 4-minute mile, we always talked about you need to be able to run round about 3:43 for 1500 to be able to run a 4-minute mile. Mm-hmm. So she's still got 5.5 seconds, which is about commensurate with what she did in the in that Paris attempt when she ran 4:06, I think, trying to break the mile.
So nice.
Right, questions. I love this week, by the way. This is from Matt. So no location was given, but Owen, the producer, used the phone number in the email footer and found the area code. It was in New Hampshire in the US. I love that, Owen. That is dedication.
Yeah.
He's good, isn't he?
That was good. I mean, he's pulled some sort of CIA tricks there.
I love that.
I love that. I mean, if Matt has has deliberately been anonymous and didn't want to be outed as being from New Hampshire in the US, we could have we could have caused some serious national security issues there.
Okay, so Matt says, Sarah, your 20-minute goal videos got me into watching and listening to running content. I started running as a continuation of my PT, but didn't really consider myself a runner, even though a sub 20 would be a pipe dream for me. How you captured working towards this goal made it impossible not to be inspired to set a 5K goal of my own.
Changing lives.
So inspirational,
there you go.
guys.
Yeah.
Now for the question. I have a 3 times 1 mile interval run. Can I legally count it as having achieved negative splits if I used a hill loop to do it? Climb, plateau, descend.
Well, I think it's smart.
Yeah, because if you're climbing, then...
Well, I think the idea is, the first mile is a climb. Yeah.
Then plateau, then
and
descend.
downhill for the last mile. You're definitely going to get faster.
I think you can count that.
Yeah, you're physically making your legs turn over more quickly for each one.
Also, running downhill is actually pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say yes. It's usually we're like, no,
but it's
can't
a hill
count
loop.
anything.
It's a hill loop.
Yeah, that makes sense. He goes up the hill for his first mile.
Yeah.
Across the top for his second mile, and back down the hill to where he started for his third mile.
I don't think you can call that negative splits.
Rick,
but each split's going to be faster though.
Yeah, I really like Matt. I like his commitment to the cause.
Yeah.
I love New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I like his question. I like his compliments about you.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can call that negative splits.
Oh, don't
because it's
listen
not fair.
to it, Matt.
You're
It
on an
is
uneven
fair.
keel.
You know your negative split half marathon?
Yes.
Net downhill. Cheater.
I don't think it was.
I think it was.
No, Owens.
It was. Owen, back me up here.
You're kidding yourself, Matt, if you do that.
Oh my gosh.
Steady on.
He's kidding
Hello.
himself.
Well,
Well, you're not going to give yourself a realistic critique of your own
and
achievements.
you're not going to give yourself a realistic critique of your own achievements
God,
if you
who's
carry on
kicking
like
off
this.
now? My God.
You're being mean to one of our listeners.
I've just said I love Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
we
like
hate
saying
you.
no offense, but, isn't it?
Yeah. No offense.
but.
Matt,
Right.
look, I think you're great.
Okay.
I really
Yeah,
believe in you.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
you're going to
I
run
like
that
Sarah.
sub
I'd like
to meet Matt.
You take those negative splits
Yeah.
and you just remember who backed you up.
Just don't kid yourself, Matt. Let's be realistic in your aims and your goals, and don't trick yourself into believing that you're fitter than you are.
This is the worst pep talk ever.
I don't want to con our
This is how
audience.
you talk to your kids.
No, I'm too busy winning the dad's sports race.
He doesn't talk to his kids. He just
Quiet, children. Daddy's sprinting.
he's either flown, bussed, or trained in a relative of some kind to look after the children, so that he can practice his dip.
Right. What did you say?
Nothing.
Practice your dip.
Oh, my dip. Right, let's squeeze this in. Club question. Not so much
Much
a
like your
question. Have you seen what Sarah Arnott has posted?
Yes, I love this. So they shared this. They saw this on WhatsApp, and it gave them a good giggle. Someone has Strava'd walking down the aisle.
Yeah, 0.03 kilometres.
In
so
16
30
seconds.
metres. That's actually pretty quick.
16 seconds. Yeah, this is what, this is what I thought when I saw it. Come on, you can milk this far more. I reckon I would love to know the average time relative to the average length of an aisle. I feel like you've got at least like 35, 40 seconds.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a guy who's Strava'd this. I'm not sure. So this
in
could have
which
been.
case,
They
do you
were
reckon this
sprinting.
was
They were sprinting to the front.
They were running a bit late.
Yeah, they've got to get there first,
Yeah.
and then they've got to wait for their other half to come down.
I would 100% do that.
I just had a flashback to Chantal walking down the aisle, an organ player who was drunk.
Really?
Yeah, and they were playing the traditional wedding march.
Of course, what
and
else
it was
would you
so
have?
out of key. Like we were just absolutely singing ourselves.
Really?
Yeah. Like it was so bad, so out of key. But of course, we found it hilarious.
Are you going to be wearing a running watch down the aisle for your wedding?
Oh, this is controversial. I want the step count.
You don't want the step count, you absolute psychopath.
I just feel like I'm going to have something on my wrist.
Yeah. Are you?
Well, I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to, maybe I get a white watch and then it'll blend in with the dress a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah. I bet there'll be loads of people listening who have worn their Garmin on their wedding day.
Yeah.
Regardless of their outfit.
You do you.
So there's a lot of banter like that in the club. We'd love you if you'd like to support the running channel to get extra episodes of the podcast and all that sort of stuff. And there is dedicated space in the club app to my half marathon challenge that I'm taking on. So I'm going to be posting updates in there. I posted the first page from a running journal that I found of mine from 2012 in there last week. So you could sort of read the thought process that I was going through.
Also, we've just launched some 5K audio guides. So if anyone else like Matt is targeting sub 20, we've got a sub 20, sub 25 and sub 30 audio guide read out by me, Andy and Tom. So if you want us in your ear holes
Didn't get the call for that.
Well, we just didn't really think you were Mr. Motivator. As you just demonstrated to Matt here.
Yeah, we had lots
You didn't think I was motivated?
You are born motivated, but you're not a motivator.
Yeah, so like quite a negative influence.
You're
quite harsh.
Yeah, that is quite harsh.
Quite cutting.
You're motivated to do stuff for yourself.
I was just about to say Newark's not going to know what's hit it, but I don't think I will say that after all.
See, and that is why
Are you coming to watch and support?
In mid-August.
Yeah.
Busy.
Oh, there we go. See, now he's showing his true colours.
He's returned to one word answer.
No.
You genuinely look like that's absolute madness. Why would I give up one of my weekends to
One has plans in midsummer.
We'll come to your park run next week.
Yeah, exactly. Sarah and I
nice
stay at home.
Right. I need to do something before we go. If you have not voted for this show, this podcast, this enjoyable feast of endeavours that we provide every week, hopefully you enjoy it.
Really selling it, mate.
Yeah, there's just a thesaurus in the corner over there. He's just opened it at random pages and picked some words.
Please, can you vote for us at the British Podcast Awards? Go to your search engine, type in British Podcast Awards, vote. Listener's Choice will come up from that search. Then type in The Running Channel.
No spaces.
The Running Channel.
You don't need spaces?
Apparently no spaces. Apparently there's a glitch. So if you put the space running space channel, then Runner's World comes up.
Okay.
Oh, great.
And we don't want you voting for them.
It will then send you an email. You accept the email.
Oh, right. Vote for that then.
Accept the email. And that would be great if you could vote for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.